Motivation and compositionality. Motivation is related to the logical notion of composition or compositionality. And what is compositionality? When we say something is logically compositional, if it can be defined in terms of its parts, if parts give us the indication of the whole, so we say that it is compositional. For example, doghouse, we know that both the words have two different names, but doghouse, a house that is for dog. Obviously, it may have some other meaning too, but here we are to its primary meaning for which this is used. So it is motivation because it refers to a certain thing. So its meaning is derivable from its two components. So it is compositional. Another example of compositional form is from this Q Jamat, Joolib, debutive in completive. For example, you can see ni ungar and I was taking. Ni is first person singular subject, and take, and it's for the suffix ing, right? So you see that in the second example we have repeated. So this inking is used to stress emphasis on the incomplete aspect. I'm taking, it refers to the action which is still incomplete, and expressing emphasis through doubling should be considered compositional. So this phenomena of composition is across languages. A set of English words in light of partial motivation and compositionality. For example, if we look at behead, to remove someone's head. So this be or this head does not tell us directly to the process, or parts do not give us any sign of the whole or the meaning of the whole. So we find the same be used with befriend, where it has partial motivation to make yourself a friend to someone. Besiege, to lay siege to, and similarly bewitch, to place under one's power as if by magic. So in this case, this set of English words example, we have partial motivation, not direct motivation. Compounding is also a process of compositionality. One derivational process. Here are some basic example. For example, English compounds, toolbar, amusement park, puppy love, coffee house. So these are all examples of compounding, and they refer to their meaning with the help of their parts. So let's look at an extreme example that how a compounding can refers to a single entity. What Violet does for a living, we might respond it, she's a high voltage electricity grid system supervisor. So if you look at this high voltage electricity grid system supervisor, it refers to a same person, and it refers as if it were a single noun. So this compositionality refers to a single noun or single entity. So it's like a good plus noun or noun for hire. So it is a complete noun, and it can work as a noun in any place of a noun. So high voltage electricity grid system supervisor behave as a single unit for the purpose of WH movement. So whenever you have to make it subject, object, or take it anywhere where we move, make WH movement, so the whole unit will move to that place, not any part of it. So that's why we say that it works as a single unit, as if it were a noun. For example, if we have question like this, which electricity grid system supervisor did you see? Right? Now this electricity grid supervisor, so that answer can be the high voltage one. But if your question is, which system supervisor did you see? Now the high voltage electricity grid 1, this is not possible. This will be incorrect. Which supervisor did you see? The high voltage electricity grid systems 1, it's not possible. Contrast with these syntactic strings of modifier plus noun, which are easily broken up as shown in the following. Which supervisor did you see? The tall one, it's quite correct. But a very high voltage electricity grid system supervisor, is it possible? Very goes to the whole string of words or only to high? So there are certain questions about this. So the structure of high voltage electricity grid system supervisor as evidence that it is a single noun formed by compounding. So this is one way. But obviously it won't remain in our lexicon. We may use it once and then just forget it or take it out from our memory. So this is also another aspect. Words in English are generally head final, meaning that the lexical category of the form as a whole matches that of its final consonant. Obviously the head word of a noun phrase is the last word. Generally if it is not it is not modified by a prepositional phrase, generally the last noun is the head word. A dog sled, obviously a sled, a kind of sled, not a kind of dog. The Red River Valley, a kind of valley, not a river, right? So the last word actually gives the meaning of or take the whole meaning of the whole compound. Is this noun in my lexicon? So whenever you come across phrases like high voltage system supervisor, etc., so does something of it remains in your lexicon or your memory? Probably not. The compound is formed by a very productive process and there is nothing irregular involved in it. It is absolutely compositional and fully motivated. When we use it, it will refer to a certain person, but it won't remain in our lexicon anymore. Words like that are used but not stored are called forms of Hapax legomena. So words such as these words are Hapax legomena, called Hapax legomena. Nouns mean a particular occasion, or Hapax legomena, it's a Greek term which means said once. So once we have said this word and then this word is no more recorded in the lexicon of our memory. In discussing compound, linguists sometimes use the term endocentric and exocentric. So these are very popular terms. So these terms are related to the notion of motivation and compositionality, that how words are composed, how we compose compounds. An endocentric compound is one that has a head. The head expresses the core meaning of the compound and it belongs to the same lexical category as the compound as a whole. For example, we say a dog house. House is a house, explain the type of the carries the main meaning of the compound, and it is a noun, so it will be a noun. The compound will be a noun. For example, goldfish is an endocentric compound. Fish, a type of fish which is called gold. Compound whose lexical category or meaning are not determinable from the head are exocentric. So when they are they share the meaning, they are endocentric. When they do not share the meaning, they are exocentric. We can have a few examples. For example, endocentric compounds: jackknife, board game, bluebird, high chair, and sailboat. So we can get the meaning from the unit of these words of how they are composed. But exocentric compounds: funny farm, lazy bones, loony bin, scarecrow, pickpockets. One unit does not give us the meaning of the whole compound. So this is the difference between endocentric compounds and exocentric compounds.